What if you could have a faceless automated YouTube channel that you could sell for $1 million? What would that feel like? Now, this is actually possible, and it is something that we are actually starting to see more often in the marketplace. You might be wondering, well, what would one actually look like? What would $1 million YouTube channel look like? Now, I can't show you that for sure in this video series I'm putting together, but I can show you for sure what a six-figure YouTube channel looks like. But with that said, we're going to take a little fun dive here, looking at different YouTube channels using a tool called Viewstats, and we're going to then compare those channels with actual YouTube channels we've sold on the Empire Flippers marketplace. If you don't know, we actually just launched a new option on our valuation tool a little while ago for people who run YouTube channels that are faceless. Now, you don't know what faceless means. All it means is that there's no one in the camera. Like me, I would not exist on the YouTube channel. It would be like a slideshow, stock footage, or maybe like an avatar in the case of like the VTuber space, which is a wildly weird space that you can go check out. You're welcome for me introducing you to that. So with Google being a lot more chaotic these days than it used to be, more and more my clients are turning towards YouTube as kind of the new style of doing a content site. So I thought it'd be fun. Let's do a little YouTube series where I look at actual YouTube channels that, according to this website that I'm going to look at, is telling me that they are basically $1 million and up, or pretty high six figures. And then we'll wrap up this YouTube series with at least two channels that we have actually sold on Empire Flippers, as well as a little possible freebie for you if you like this, if you are interested in getting more of the data. Okay, so how am I judging these channels that we're going to look at that I don't have their backend data? Like I said, I believe I already mentioned the website. We're using Viewstats, which is created by none other than Mr. Beast himself, basically YouTube's mascot at this point. He is the largest YouTuber in the entire world in the history of the platform. Absolutely is crushing it on multiple fronts. As far as creators go, you can't get better than Mr. Beast. But Viewstats is a relatively new tool of his. It's replaced other websites like Social Blade, which is another one you can use. I was going to do both, but then I decided, let's just keep it with Viewstats for now and see what we see. So I'll be comparing what Viewstats tells me to figure out what kind of ballpark estimated revenue range they're making. And then I'm going to be making some, critical judgments, some leaps, if you will, based on what I know, having helped sell over 2,000 businesses, of what I think that this YouTube channel might actually be worth. And then at the end of the series, like I said, we're going to compare what Viewstats says compared to actual data that we have at Empire Flippers. One thing to keep in mind, by the way, on the Viewstats stuff is that this is probably going to be wrong. Viewstats is a estimator, right? All it's doing is estimating what kind of revenue they're making based on traffic. And it's not uncommon for a YouTube channel to actually be making more, at least as they grow, as they get into more of the middle size of that growth curve, to be making more than what the ad revenue is based on affiliates, based on sponsorships. Perhaps if they listen to Greg at all, they started their own service or sell their own product at this point. But we are just going to be looking at the base stats that Viewstats gives us. We are going to wrap up this video talking a little bit about how YouTube valuations actually work. And then in the next video, we're going to get into diving into some of these faceless channels. So if you haven't subscribed, please help my ego and hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. And this is how you can have $1 million YouTube channel for sale. So when it comes to YouTube valuations, there's a few things we need to look at. One, we need to look at diversity of traffic. We need to look at how many videos that they have. Is it a one-hit wonder, or are they getting a stable amount of traffic coming from a multiple videos that can show us like, okay, hey, this person has figured something out. They have some kind of repeatable system happening here. So that is good, right? We want to see stuff like that. Now, because this entire business model basically only lives on YouTube, it is beholden to the YouTube algorithm. Not too dissimilar from my buddies over in the content site space who are now coming into the YouTube space because the algorithm has become so painful for a lot of affiliate site owners. So YouTube channels have basically the same master as your typical SEO affiliate site. Now this master has been a lot kinder to the automation space than the affiliate sites, but Google and Alphabet, who owns both of these, can change that on a whim. And that inherently makes the valuations of these businesses going to be weaker. You're going to be looking at anywhere between 28x to 35x of monthly EBITDA or SDE. Now, that doesn't mean all sites are going to be like that. Some will come under, some will go up. Usually as your valuation goes up, you'll get to the higher end of that range. So $1 million YouTube channel most likely is going to be upwards of 35x SDE, maybe a little bit higher depending on what they got going on. And this goes back to one thing that I will say as we explore these channels together on this little mini series is if you are running a YouTube channel and you only have a YouTube channel, you have no other assets, you have no email list, no website, nothing else going for you, your multiple is just going to be weaker at the end of the day. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying you can't sell the business. You absolutely can't. We have sold businesses, our YouTube channels that only have their YouTube as their only revenue source. So I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm just saying it is harder to do, and this inherently makes the business a little bit weaker. Now, if you are looking at buying a YouTube channel, this series is going to be helpful for you as well, whether you're selling or buying. But the great thing about buying a YouTube channel that is an automated, faceless channel is that it is pretty passive. Now, it's not completely passive. You still got to do stuff. Automated in the nomenclature is terrible for this business model because really it should just be called project management YouTube channel, but because you're just managing script writers, voiceover artists, or you're using AI and someone's managing the AI tools. But at the end of the day, there's not that many moving parts here. So if you look at like a traditional affiliate site, you have moving parts like the content writer, the on-page optimization, the website design, maybe graphics for the articles, and then the actual writer themselves. I think I already mentioned that. But then you also have backlinks, which are predominantly backlinks and content are your primary expense when it comes to content sites. With YouTube channels, your primary expense is going to be the actual editing, and like the YouTube editor is just the biggest cost. But you have the YouTube editor, you have the script writer, and you have the voiceover artist, which often are 3 different people in your crew that is running all of this. Now, you do save on the backlinks, so it is debatable which one is more expensive. I think affiliate site is probably more expensive to get it started and off the ground than YouTube, but YouTube has a more consistent expenses. So with an affiliate site, eventually your content costs might go dramatically down when you kind of put the site on autopilot, and it might still be making you some decent amount of money. And vice versa, your backlinks will probably go away in terms of an actual cost to the business over time, or at least you exponentially will be spending lower if you're not in a state of growth. With YouTube, the expenses stay much more consistent, in that if you are going to grow ultra fast, you're going to spend more money. And if you're going to keep a schedule, which is always recommended in the algorithm, that means that expense probably don't go away, at least not very much. There are some efficiencies you can do in there to make it a little bit less burdensome, but that's in general, you're stuck with those costs. Now, the nice thing is, again, no customer service, there's no logistics, no inventory, and it is a pretty clean business model. So if you are looking to buy a YouTube channel, definitely go to our marketplace, empireflippers.com/marketplace, sign up for an account, and you can just filter on our marketplace for YouTube channels to sell. I think we have about 10 of them for sale at the moment of this recording. Don't quote me on that, that might change. But you can go and buy them. And I think these are great side hustles if you also have the ability and the know-how and the creativity to expand off of YouTube. Use YouTube as your traffic generator, basically, which is what we do at Empire Flippers. Like, we use this YouTube channel. We could make money on it. We're technically allowed to be monetized. We haven't yet for just laziness, to be honest, but we use this as a traffic source to bring people to our marketplace or to build trust with our audience, right? That's why I'm doing these videos. Had other people on my team do these videos as well. But you should buy a YouTube channel and do the same thing if possible. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying a YouTube channel and just keep going the way it is and enjoy that, relatively hands-off income. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to buy a side hustle that would become a real enterprise, when you're looking at these channels, I highly recommend asking yourself, what are some other creative ways I can monetize this and build an audience you own, i.e. a newsletter? All right, enough of Greg on his soapbox. Tune in for the next video where Greg will get back on his soapbox and start talking about some YouTube channels that are making money. Let's talk to you soon.